Hey Crabby peeps, Suzanna here today to share with you a layout I created with some tips and tricks along the way using my May Cocoa Daisy kits. I wanted to create a non-themed layout using a themed kit. The May kits are rather tropically themed, and I wanted to do this picture of my kids on their first day of school. Fortunately, the picture is a picture that complements the colors that are in the kit. Nicholas has a green shirt on, which is similar to all the greens, the tropical greens, and the cake kind of has a yellow frosting on it. It's actually a vanilla frosting, but it comes out fairly yellow in the picture. And my daughter has this pinky red t-shirt dress on, and so it allows me to use the colors that are in the kit because I am one of those scrappers who likes to coordinate my pictures with the collection that I'm using most of the time. So I pulled all of the yellow, green, and pink things that are in the kit and went to town with those. I used one of the exclusive digital cut files, the pineapple that had both the background as well as the outline, and my idea here was to use the negative, so what I had left from the pineapple background, and use that as a stencil to perfectly apply all of the bits and pieces that go inside the pineapple. So I just put adhesive in those white open spots on the white cardstock that I was going to use, and I just pulled them off my mat and then stuck them in kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, and that left me the absolute perfect shape that I could then overlay the green outline on top of. The problem that you'll see as we get further into this video is that unfortunately I did use liquid adhesive on some of the smaller pieces, and I adhered this too low down in my page. So my second tip to you, which will be flashing across the screen shortly, is to be flexible. The crafting gods don't always intend for us to create things the way that we intended to create them, and this is one of those situations. So my flexibility meant, after I had a little fit off camera, that I cut the outline of that pineapple out of that white piece of pattern paper and reused it on another white background, because the floppiness of the tops of the pineapple hanging off the edge of the page weren't going to work in my album. I probably could have cut them and then recut them, and it just was more work than it was worth. So the easy, quick solution was to just cut that out, and I had a white background on top of the white pattern paper. So this is after my small little fit, and I came up with that solution and decided that I wanted some texture on the page. I pulled out my textures from Shimmers and a mask from Studio Calico, and I thought that the triangles in the mask were perfect because they mimicked the triangles that were in the pineapple. So the texture Shimmers is, it actually literally has texture in it. It's almost like bits of sand, and so it's a little bit harder to spread, but the effect, once you get that down the way that you want it to come down, is really cool. And it's actually kind of cool on this tropical themed paper or kit, even though I'm not using the actual tropical theme, because the sand in it adds a really cool sort of sandy tropical texture to it. So I put some of that green up at the top right hand side just so that you had two places to look, and I could have gone down at the bottom with it as well, except that I liked the up and down movement of that and didn't really have anywhere down the bottom once I'd put all of my elements in to make that work. See that added piece that I mentioned earlier that I cut out of the previous white cardstock that had been too high up on the paper, and I'm just putting liquid adhesive to glue that down in an offset position so that you can see the yellow, but it almost creates like a shadow behind the green in the cut file. And I don't adhere the whole thing down. I just put the body of the pineapple down, and that's tip number 3, is not everything needs to be adhered down fully. You don't need to waste that amount of adhesive, and it's fun to have some of the movement behind objects that create some flow to your page. Tip number 4 here is use some of the 3 in the Life, Day in the Life cards to make hidden journaling pockets behind your pictures. So that tab there I cut out so that it would flip on top of the picture, and then just used some double-sided tape on the outer edges of the card so that the card could slide in and out and you could see the journaling there. By creating the little sort of pull tab on the picture, it was perfect to draw your attention to the fact that there was something behind the picture and that you could draw that out. In the finished layout, I actually take that dream card that's yellow, the yellowy orange, and also took that behind, and it's poking up a little higher behind the layout. So in essence, it reads Dream This Week. That dream card is actually also not adhered in there, so it could also be pulled out with some additional journaling on it as well. The only thing is it doesn't have a stop, so it could slide down further into the page. So you can see you can pull it in and out for a hidden journaling pocket there. So this is another day in the life card, and it says hot summer days, and I didn't want the hot, so I used my title to cover hot with the additional words that I put on it. And this is another way that you can make a themed layout not themed by adding additional words to it. So I covered hot with goodbye and said goodbye summer days, and then drew the title a little further to the right of the pineapple, and it said hello school. I could have said hello school days, but I didn't do that. So another tip here is to use wax paper or vellum to anchor your letters or chipboard pieces or anything really, and that way it's a semi-translucent piece of paper that you can move around and then see if you like the alignment of things before leaving that sticky residue behind. A lot of sticker letters leave a sticky residue behind if you put them down and then decide to pull them up. So I like to do that as I figure out placement of things, because I'm sure you've seen in my process videos that I really do a lot of shuffling of things to see where I like them. I was a little impatient in the making of this layout. I don't like to dry things with my heat tool unless I absolutely have to. It tends to warp the paper. And so I had not let this textures dry, and it is pretty thick, and it takes a while to dry. So you'll see me throughout this video wiping my hands on a baby wipe and getting the green that I've gotten on my fingers off so that I don't continue to draw it further and further around on the layout. I did get a little bit in the on the yellow behind the pineapple, but you can't really tell. So I had cut that pink piece to complement the edge of the picture, and then as I make this ripped border, sort of fussy cut border edge, decide that I don't like the pink there and I want it in the border. It needs to go along that other edge, and I like this thin multi-pieced edge because it complements that striped border on the other side and just sort of closes off the page a little bit. So I just used scraps, branding strips, I think some of it, and then I did cut some pieces of paper for it, but they were pieces of paper that I had already cut into. And so just various lengths and various bits, some of it ripped, some of it cut. There's really no rhyme or reason to it other than just to use the same colors, the yellow, the pink, and the green, and just sort of move your eye up and down the page there with that. I do not show you the second part of the title in this layout, the Hello School, but I did use that same black sticker and then some stickers from the My Mind's Eye sticker collection that are multicolored stickers, and that goes underneath the title there, and it's fairly easy to do. So now I just want to put some added embellishments. I have embellishments that come from the kit. Cocoa Daisy has some new chipboard pieces that are new in these kits, and I had fun using some of those. So that pink banner there that I put on that right-hand side that says Real Life, I actually end up moving up to the top where I have the texture paste. You don't see me do that in this video, but it was this sort of random floating element down the bottom there, and I didn't like it. it. I liked it up the top because we moved from the Goodbye Summer Days at the bottom, sort of to the pineapple to the picture, and then up to that chipboard element on the right, and it looks much better up there, I think. So just trying out all of the different pink, yellow, and green elements. Some of them have that tropical theme, like this flower that I'm about to pull out here from the My Mind's Eye stickers. And that's okay because a flower can be rather generic as well as tropical. So I pulled out this particular flower, and I really liked it where I put it next to Goodbye Summer, but it was sort of the wrong pink and I had another option, so I went with that other option because the pink matched much better. I thought I was going to nestle the second part of my title on that green iridescent banner there, but decided not to. So that is going to be it for this layout, other than the changes that I made off screen. Thanks for popping in today. I hope these tips and tricks were useful to you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Enjoy the close-ups, and thanks for stopping in today.